In this lesson I want to start to take a look at a technique known as string skipping. A little bit of background why I kind of got into this technique for my own playing. I think for a long time I'd struggled with doing sweep picking and that kind of thing, and especially barring my first finger across like the G and the B string to play a lot of minor arpeggios and all that kind of stuff. I really struggled. So I was kind of praying that I would find another technique which I could use, which helped me play the kinds of arpeggios that I wanted to play. So I mean, I mainly use string skipping for arpeggios, so that's pretty much what we're going to be looking at, is different ways of doing that. But then, when I got into Paul Gilbert and that kind of stuff, then a lot of arpeggios and that really started to make sense for me in terms of using that kind of concept for string skipping. I mean, I can demonstrate what I mean. So if we do this in the key of F sharp minor, the arpeggio that I'm on about that I could never really do was this. I just kind of hate that sound of raking across multiple strings of the same fret, if you know what I mean. And I kind of found it pretty limiting as well in terms of like being able to, jump between the notes and all the rest of it. But as I said, when I kind of started to realise that you could play these arpeggios in another way, it made way more sense for me to kind of go, because my fingers are kind of already geared up for that type of, shape of playing anyway. String skipping just seemed to fit, under my fingers a lot better than, raking everything. So yeah, instantly, this sounds horrible, and then it instantly improved with. Okay, so, that's basically what I want to show you, is that. So we're in the key of F sharp minor, and the arpeggio shape looks like this. Okay, so 16 on the D string, then we've got 14 G and 18 on the G. You can do this in any key, by the way. I'm just choosing to do it in F sharp minor because it's a little bit different than doing everything in E. Yeah, and then the last notes are 14 on the high E string and then 17 on the high E. So the reason why this is called string skipping is because we're leaving out the B string. So we're going from the G string to the high E and then back. Okay, so picking for this, start with a downstroke, upstroke, and then hammer on. Then up and down, pull off, and then downstroke. 2 downstrokes in a row, so. Okay, so the next thing that I want to take you into is, I mean, it's not technically string skipping, but it's a way of extending this string skipping arpeggio out, which I do quite a lot in my playing. And it does extend out to that traditional shape that we all know and love. And if you don't know this or love this shape, then look away now, or learn it for the very first time. It's entirely up to you. But is that shape. So we're looking at 21, 17 on the high E, 19 on the B, and then 18 on the G. So, you can actually use this in conjunction with the string skip as well. So as you can see, there's already a really good application for that in playing between, you know, pentatonic shapes as well as sticking your arpeggios in there. You know, for improvisation, for me, it's quite handy knowing that, you know, you've got your pentatonic position there. And then when you get down to that first note of your would-be arpeggio, you know, you can get back up to that first note of the pentatonic and you can use an arpeggio instead of notes strictly from the pentatonic scale. So as you can see, you know, you can move out of that simple pentatonic arpeggio, then back into your pentatonic, or you can extend that pentatonic out, which I do quite a lot, you know, 2 positions, and then just play them together. So that's a really good, nice, flowing way of being able to play a few different techniques all in one position, which is something that I quite like to do when I'm improvising. Okay, so that all just stems from the simple string skipped arpeggio. Now there's a couple of other shapes that I want to show you very quickly before the end of this lesson, and I'm going to show you the major version, which is this. Okay, so I'm playing an E major arpeggio, which kind of sits nicely with F sharp minor. You know, if you play them back to back, they sound like they should go together. Okay, so that shape is just 14 on the D, 13 and then 16 on the G, then 12 on the high E and then 16 on the high E. So okay, so again, it's not a lot of difference to that. It just sounds a bit happier. Again, you can move between the two just in that little example. You know, and F sharp minor and E major go well together. You know, you can even kind of outline the chord progression as well. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so the third string skipping shape I want to show you is diminished shape. So we've had both these. So we're going to stay in that same position, but we're just going to move to this. So, you know, it's actually quite a nice sort of musical example within itself. So the chords would be F sharp minor, E major, and then sort of F sharp minor with an F in the bass or something. I don't entirely know what that is, but you just move your first finger down to the first fret, and there you have it. You know, so you've already got quite a nice little chord progression there if you wanted to play arpeggios over that. This would be a good way to do it using string skipping. But that last diminished shape is going to be 16 on the high E, 13 on the high E. Same on the G. This is the cool thing about diminished, because everything is sort of like mirrored of itself 3 frets away from each other. So you could do that. You could do it here. It's one of those scales that seems to just continue going on and on and on, and if I had about 50 frets I could just do it in kind of like 3 fret jumps all the way up using the G and the B string, G and the high E. So anyway, this is 16, 13 high E, 16, 13 G, and then 15 on the D string. Okay, so the 3 string skipped arpeggios together sound like this. Okay, so that's a basic look at string skipping and the shapes that I like to use. We're going to look at this in more detail with how you can sequence those string skipped arpeggios and how to make them sound more interesting and use them in your own playing in conjunction with other scales. So until the next lesson, I'll see you later.